you. You're going towards accounting and marketing and kind of the rest of your college career. What did that look like? And then kind of walk us through what happened upon graduation.
Yeah, totally. So I had gotten really close with this marketing professor of mine. She had recommended me for a few different internships. So I actually I had a few internships throughout college. I was at Children's Hospital for a long time doing digital marketing, so website, blog, foundation work, search engine optimization, coding, anything else you can believe. They were an understaffed team. I mean, I was throwing on all kinds of projects at the time. The On Our Hands or On Our Sleeves campaign, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Um,
Children's, it's the children's mental health one. But I was actually part of the team that took it from a local reach to a national reach. So I
oh
helped
wow.
code. And obviously I was just a little intern, so I mean I wasn't you can't take too much credit, but I helped code. We had individual state sites for mental health resources for each state. So suicide hotline, all kinds of different like outreach programs. So I helped code all of that. So I worked there. I had a few other internships. Did some student teaching as well. I kind of just, put my hand in everything. Was still running the honors program. So, in charge of all, activities. My job was basically making sure if a student came in as an honor student that they graduated as an honor student. So, I was in charge of 120 students at one point, and I was meeting with them quarterly, each student at least once quarterly. So twice a semester, and it was a lot. And I was also, I had double degrees. I was the only student at Capital at the time that had both a marketing major and an accounting major. It's a small school. There were about 17 accounting students and probably about 65 marketing students. I was the only one that did both at the time. I actually had them look it up, and I mean, it was less than 25 in the entire history of the
Wow.
program that someone's done both at the school. They're the two largest business degrees that we have. And I'd gotten close with this marketing professor, and she's like, she's like, you no, she's like, you're not doing real estate. She's like, you're too good at marketing. Like, no, you're just not doing it. I was like, but I really think I'm starting to like love it. Like, I think it's not just the sales experience for me. It's my junior year of college. Like, it's not just the sales experience for me anymore. Like, I really think I want to make it my career. And she's like, well, why did you even go to college? I was like, well, and back when this is me as a junior, I was like, the housing market crashes, like I'll have something to fall back on, which
Right.
is such a hot topic right now that people think it's going to happen. It's not. But so that was my thing was like, I think I'm falling in love with it. And so I was talking with her, and then I was talking to my boss in the student affairs office. I was working in there, probably 20 to 25 hours a week. And I was meeting with students then. Basically my job in that office I was doing the honor student thing, and so my job kind of coincided with that, but it was on the entire campus, student life, all the whole student body. And it was to get students more involved on campus. So if we had a student that was not on any student organization roster, they'd have a meeting with me, which you think every student would at least be in one student organization, but you'd be surprised at like how much they're just not like, they go to class, they go back to their dorm room, they go to class, they go to the
That's me.
cafeteria. Yeah. So my my job was to get them more involved. I love talking to students, and so I was doing that, and then I was kind of at this point where I had done enough internships in the corporate world. I'd done some other companies and corporate life. That dream was no longer mine. It was the end of my junior year. That dream was no longer mine. But I started to really like student affairs. I loved working with students. I still love working with students. I love teaching. I love, being that like helping people get to that next step, like helping them, achieve their goals, their next like the things they
Yeah.
want to achieve. I loved that. And student affairs was something, it was something that I could do. It wasn't necessarily a subject in school. It wasn't like math or science or anything like that, but it was, it's the other half of education that is so important to a development of a student or of a person. And it's that social aspect, that team building, the organizational aspect. Like, it's not just anyone can go into a class and get an A, but,
Right.
not everybody can lead a meeting. Not everybody can, be comfortable in a social setting. Not everybody can, work on a team. And, so much of in the student life aspects, that's so important. In some ways it's even more important than, learning
Right.
mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell, I think is the example people always use.
Yeah.
So I got to my senior year and I was kind of at like, well, what do I do? And then COVID hit. So I was graduating in May of 2020 and COVID hit. It was literally the night of my birthday. My birthday is March 9th and I was turning 22. It was my senior year. And me and a couple friends decided to go out. And when we were out that night, campus, like Capital, closed the rest of the week. Like they're like, we don't know what's going on. Like we're gonna cancel classes. We'll like meet back up on Monday. We're just like we're gonna disinfect the campus. Like everything's fine. And then we never went back. Like we just never went back to school. Like we went virtual for 6 weeks, and then I graduated. And honestly, if COVID didn't happen, I don't know if I would honestly be in real estate full time today. Student affairs was
Mm.
honestly something that was picking up, it was picking up speed in my life. I loved it. I always wanted to keep real estate as, a side business, like
Sure.
it was always something I was going to do, but I wasn't necessarily going to. I had, these 25 to 30 clients that were I call them platinum people. It's a Floyd Wickman term that I learned. And I was always going to keep them, but I was never necessarily going to prospect for new business. Like I was just going to work with, they referred me, awesome. If they wanted to sell their house, they had sold them, lovely. But I necessarily wasn't going to look to build my business any further.
Sure.
And if COVID didn't hit, I honestly don't even know where I would be now. Maybe I'd be at some university, doing student affairs, student life. I'm not sure, but it was definitely it was transforming for me.
Was it, I wanted to back up because I wanted to ask this question. How did you manage all of that? All of that? Because again, like I believe there's things that happen in our earlier life that will help us all benefit in our real estate business. I can't imagine double major, all of the other student, activities you were doing, internships, real estate, showings, open houses, all that stuff. Like, how did you even manage all of that and navigate, prioritize? Because I think that's one of the hardest things, even to this day, for even me, is the
Mhm.
time management, activity management, all of that. So, do you have any uh, tips or things that helped you during that time? I guess if you can go back and think about it, that really helped you, or were you just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and fitting in each thing where everything went?
Yeah, no, totally. I've always had a rule. I never work past 8 p.m. So even
Oh,
if
that's
I had
cool.
stuff left over, whether it was homework or anything, it was 8 p.m. came, I shut my laptop, I was done. So it was, always whether, I then watch, I never went to bed usually about 11 or midnight. But so that was just time where, I would, sit and watch a movie or, go out to the bar with my friends or, hang out with, maybe we just hang out and play a board game. That was definitely something that was saved a lot for me. And then the other thing was my support system. I had all kinds of support. And I'm not talking, my career necessarily, but, just my friends, my mentors. I always had someone that I could go to talk about something, whether it was personal or, a social problem I was having with a friend or, something, I was having an issue with a client, a house. There's always somebody that I could go talk to about it. And I had different people for different, I was involved in so many different things, if I had
Right.
something, something that happened with an honor student, like, I was super close with the director of the program. She was a professor at the university, still really good friends with her. Um, I'd go to her. I mean, and there was always these people in my life that, and they're still there for me. I am there for them too. It's a two-way street as well. And honestly, that was honestly what saved me because I was working. I was doing 22 credit hours a semester, which the maximum credit load is 18. So I was
Yeah.
already going four over. Um, my two programs themselves were going through changes as well. So I was kind of in a transitional period for the marketing and accounting programs. They were both changing, the weights of certain courses. They were getting rid of courses, they were adding courses. And I was constantly being thrown in like, well, you need to take this course now because it's no longer going to be offered after this semester. And you need it to graduate. And I was like, and I didn't let people push me around was the other thing. Like, I was like, look, no, like we need to fix this. Like, there's a solution. Like, I can't take this, 4-hour class from 2 to 6 p.m. on a Tuesday. Like that was one of the major times I did real estate work. Like, or that was, I had my internship during that time. I was like, this is the degree that you promised. This is what we're going to, and so, it was a lot of work. So did I ever have to pay for my extra credit hours? No, I didn't. Thank you to the provost and the people of Capital University. They are very understanding. Absolutely love Capital. I cannot rave enough about them. But yeah, no, I can't say it was easy. It was never easy. Did I graduate number one in the business program in 2020 at Capital University? Yes, I did. How I did that, I honestly, I couldn't. I mean, it was the support of my friends and my colleagues and my coworkers and other agents and everyone. And that 8 p.m. thing honestly was huge for me. I mean, I quit at 8. And honestly, sometimes I would cry after that, like, because it was hard. Like, I had such a stressful day. I was like, I need to, like, no, like, I need to finish this. But I always stopped at 8. Like, I just did. And
Is that still a rule you hold to this day?
my life has changed a little bit in the way that my day is structured. So not always, but usually I'm done by 8.
Yeah.
Now there may be sometimes, especially with the transition to my new brokerage, where I'm like, I'm on a roll. Like, let me just get this done. But yeah, other than that, I still try to, stop everything by 8. That's always been important to me. Usually start everything up by 8. Like 8 to 8 is usually my thing. And now with that being said, my other thing is I'm not allowed to dilly dally during my day. Like I don't get on like social media, like don't get on TikTok, don't get on Instagram unless it's for business. Like I might like, film an Instagram reel or film a TikTok.
Right.
But I'm not doing anything like that. That's equally as important to me because I now have promises to other people in my life. Like I'll be done by 8. Like let's do this, and I don't want me to be sidetracked or distracted during that time and not fully present. Being present's very big with me. Not being fully present with someone because I didn't work as hard as I could that day, or I didn't get the stuff that I had planned on getting done that day. And do things happen? Things happen. Like that's normal. That's life. And people understand that and I understand that, but
Sure.
having that structure has definitely been something that helps me a lot.
Yeah, that's the whole being present thing. I have got a lot better with. I still struggle with it.
Mhm,
But when I got in the business, I always told my clients like I'm available 9 to 9, Monday through Sunday.
mhm,
And there'd be times where, I'd be on a trip with friends or I'd be hanging out with friends or even family, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, like I'm on my phone working. And I would just always joke like my mom, and I feel looking back on it now, like I'm in a different spot, right? But back then I was like, y'all ain't paying my mortgage, y'all ain't paying my bills, like this is how I have to do it. And but
mhm,
I was afraid of telling clients like, give me 5 hours or give me a day or I'm on a trip or whatever. So that's awesome that that's been one of your kind of core values is being present, something that I'm working on even still to this day.
mhm.
Just with managing not so much clients anymore, but just managing just different agents and teams and things that I'm involved with. It's so hard. And I recently just posted like my wife, she doesn't work on Fridays, and at 1 o'clock on Fridays it becomes spend time with her, whatever she wants to do. And this past Friday, like I nailed it for the most part, but I had a 4:30 Zoom, right?
Yeah,
That I had to do. And so I think that's awesome. That's been kind of one of your core values because I know it's been a struggle for a lot of people in our business. And the fact that you don't dilly dally right during the day. Like I tell people, people get into real estate for one of three things. They want to make more money, they want more time, or they want more flexibility of their schedule or of their life. And the people that make a lot of money for the most part don't have the time and the flexibility unless they kind of leverage and build a team.
yeah,
The people that have more time aren't making more money. And the flexibility is the one thing that I think a lot of us, myself included, forget about. Like if you get done with income producing activities or whatever you have to, if that's done and over with by 1, go enjoy the rest of the day
Mhm.
or take the weekend off or whatever the case may be. But I think a lot of times, because no one tells us what to do and when to do it and how to do it in our business, a lot of people get caught up in the rabbit holes of social media, or hey, I'm going to go to lunch today, and it turns into like a 3-hour lunch,
Mhm.
so the fact that you were able to kind of, and I would guess that's probably because in college you had to juggle so many different things, so you probably didn't really have time for any of that during the day.
No.
I'm just guessing. I'm just